The start of the second term. Melbourne lead by 29 points. The breeze not a factor. The rain still coming down, albeit rather gently. Stretch out of the centre towards his own half-back line. Lovell leads in the race as the ball comes towards the wing. Not a particularly good kick. Meldrum couldn't take the mark. Viney knocked it away from him. Blackwell pulls it back towards centre wing. Gleeson through his hands. Johnson tidies up for Melbourne. Back towards half forward. Courageous mark taken by Alvin. Coming across at right angles. Short passes. Exposing the middle to Melbourne, and Wilson goes back and takes a very clever mark. That was a dangerous kick. Runners outside. Wilson is told he's playing on. That was news for him initially. 2-on-1. This is Yates. He's got some time. Pulls it inside 50. Healy is up. Fisted away by Kennedy. Lovell, 40 metres out Lovell. Open goal square. Which way will it bounce? Through for a minor score.
So we're back to a 30-point margin.
Was that Don?
Whoever it was is taking no precautions. Back into play. Madden looking for the free kick. O'Dwyer doing the defending work from the back. Spalding is under pressure. Gets the hand pass away. Now an opportunity for Todd Viney. Pulls it onto the left boot. Healy shepherded out by Glascott. And in fact, the umpire said it's going to go the other way. So David Glascott, who, according to the umpire, was held, will take it. Kicks out towards Dorotic at half-back. Behind him is Nailey. Clear of Wilson. Pulls it back with a high kick. Difficult one for Kernahan. Dersma does well to affect the spoil. Love it across to Johnston. And again, Melbourne out of trouble. Johnson has done well since going down early in the first quarter. Spent some time on the bench, but is back in business now. Yates on the outer side. Towards Steins. Behind him Dunlop, who fists it over the line.
Sandy, we've seen already in this game many times the ball getting behind two contesting players, and that's where you need your runners to be hitting the pace, the pack at pace, and not get caught flat-footed. And Melbourne have just done that better at this stage.
Madden holds front spot down to Nailey. But it gathers little distance. Comes back to Steins. Claimed by Rhys Jones, who in turn claims Wilson. Steins knocks it out again. There's tremendous pressure out there at the moment. Jackson goes to ground. Dunlop. Aitken. Steins can't pick it up. Glascott storms his way through and then says, I'll split it up. But it goes straight to White. Back to Steins, who won't get there in time, and he sees it roll over the line. Melbourne just into their attacking zone on the outer side. And that lady is fascinated by this game.
Not surprisingly. Just over 22 minutes remaining. Dunlop gets it down to Nailey. It's going to be a free kick to Melbourne, though. Steins was pushed out of the contest. So Steins at left half forward. Like O'Dwyer, a very valuable player so far. The sun shining down on the MCG for one of the few times this afternoon as Meldrum reads it off hands. Kicks back towards centre wing. Johnston, but in from the side, Yates. It was intended for Johnston, but what a great mark that was. Melbourne playing inspired football. Yates from centre wing pumps it back into the forward line. From behind, the mark is taken by Rhys Jones. It's going to be a Melbourne free. Spalding was interfered with. So Melbourne getting the rub. Aitken is not happy. Earl Spalding will kick it goal from about 45 metres out.
Here it is here. Aitken. See, it really, I thought it was pretty well played by Aitken myself.
Yeah, pretty soft free kick, that one. Spalding's got it. Kicks from just outside 50. It's off target, through for a minor score. It increases the Melbourne lead, but not by the margin they'd hoped.
That's his third point too, Dennis. A couple of, I guess, doubtful free kicks, and that was certainly one too. I thought it was pretty good body work by Aitken, who just held his ground.
Kennedy brings it back into play. Lovell gave a bit of a nudge. Tom Alvin will take the football.
Well, I suppose if the other one was a free, that one certainly was too. They don't square up though.
No.
Alvin. The centre wing. O'Dwyer coming over the top of Kernahan. Carlton wanted goal and wanted bad. Mad, is he going to do the roving work? Hughes shows desperation. Storm's clear. Aiken is not having a happy time at the moment. Tunnel balls it out the back door. Dunlop sockers it off the ground. A chance for Nayley. Runs his full distance and wobbles one that's going to drop short to half forward, and Healy takes a courageous mark. Well, Melbourne are playing this like a grand final. That's what it is for them. And they're playing it well at the moment. The centre wing. Spalding. Bradley sandwiched. Lovell keeps it in play, but straight to Rhys Jones. Pulls it back. Grinter. The advantage paid. Healy is clear. To half forward. Steins is the target. Steins he finds.
Greg Healy's form's certainly made a difference to this Melbourne side as we see this great mark, strong mark from Steins.
The kick is long, down towards O'Dwyer. Melbourne fans delirious.
Well thought out by Steins. He realised that O'Dwyer had the height down there in the square and moved it very quickly.
Yes, it was indeed, Dennis. Great play, and Meldrum and Alvin standing still with O'Dwyer really made their task almost impossible.
So Stephen O'Dwyer looking for his first goal. He kicked it.
For some car makers, to win Australia's Car of the Year award would be an end in itself. When Nissan Skyline won, it was just the beginning. Now Nissan backs Skyline with a 2-year warranty. And in the Nissan 600,000k Enduro, Skyline went all the way to prove that it really is the winning Aussie 6.
Very nice.
Very. Nissan, building the right cars for Australia.
Way restarts. Madden wins it down. Yates used his body brilliantly, made a passage for Wilson, who got it to Grinter. Towards half forward with a kick. It favours Spalding. Mark or free kick. Push in the back is the indication from the umpire. Spalding has it too far out to score. Wants to play on. Shocking effort through the legs of Lovell. Alvin waiting behind, off the ground by Jackson. Things falling into place for Melbourne. They've had a bit of luck. And again there, the ball spilling into the path of Ricky Jackson, who is cruising by, and will have a boundary throw in the right full forward pocket for the Demons, who lead 9-4 to 3-3. Well, Carlton have made a living coming from behind in recent weeks. Can they do it again this afternoon? Kennedy trying to crash his way through. Still he goes. Kennedy close to the boundary line. It was a pretty good kick from there. Yates comes up and just deflects it across the boundary line. We'll have another throw in. There's Rode, who's on the ground in that first term, replaced Johnson. 9-4, 3-3. Just under 18 minutes remaining in the second quarter. Alvin off the ground. Good mark taken by Meldrum.
13 scoring shots to 6 at the moment. Tells the story for the Demons as Meldrum looks for Dorotic and finds it. Bradley thought about the advantage. The umpire didn't. So Dorotic still on the defensive side of centre. Carlton's forays into attack have been few and far between. That's not what they want to see. Kernahan spills one and Dersma comes through. Rhys Jones, was he held? The umpire said yes.
He's pretty happy about that decision, Rhys Jones.
He wasn't too happy at quarter time. Oh, Alvin showed courage. Melbourne have got the runners. Todd Viney on the outer side. Dorotic stands his ground. Glass got claimed. Goes into the middle. Nayley. Brought to ground, but gets rid of the football. Blackwell on. Meldrum under pressure. Gets clear. Goes onto the left foot. Pulls it inside 50 metres. Satori left it for Madden at the last minute. Johnson. Now White. Pushes it wide for Lovett. Chasing him is Wayne Johnston. Lovett had a great season. Tries to keep it in play. Was looking for Newport. Johnson shows desperation. Murphy. It's tough out there at the moment. Steins stood his ground. Hughes towards the boundary line. And eventually it goes over. But what a grand contest on that outer side, Malcolm.
Was indeed. Just looking, certainly are struggling across half forward, Carlton. Kernahan and Dorotic really struggled to get into the game so far.
Kernahan comes over the top. Renter couldn't take it cleanly, but he pushes it wide for Jackson. Grinter again doing the chasing, this time on Herman, but he held him when he didn't have possession of the football. So Herman has been in very good form of late. Will take the kick. He goes short because Johnston is there, but great interception, and he's lost it to Alan Johnson. Long towards the centre. Melbourne have been going direct, and it's been paying dividends. Aitken taps it over the top. Lovell does the roving. Chasing is Nailey. He'll gain 25 metres and push it over the line. And centre wing, the scoreboard shows Melbourne 9-4, Carlton a 3-3, and we've got just over 15 minutes of this second quarter remaining.
Boundary throw in on the outer side. Crowd up around 50,000 now. This is Nailey. Pulls it back towards half forward for the Blues. Johnston couldn't hang on. Lovett comes away. Centering kick. Yates didn't have to break stride. Goes in short. Healy lunging at the ball. Awkward half volley. Gleeson does it well. Adrian Gleeson. Aitken up through the middle. Boots it out towards left half forward. Dorotic outnumbered. 2-on-1. Who's got the speed? Melbourne have. Lovett gets back first. Good shepherd there by White. White and Dorotic go at it off the ball. White was simply shepherding, and Dorotic is working White over. Meantime, back on centre wing. Blackwell towards half forward. Waiting behind an opportunity for Hughes, but it's going to be a free kick to the man in front, Steins. And White had his feathers ruffled that time by John Dorotic. They're broken up now. This is Nailey. Back towards half forward. Rematch coming up. Dorotic in front. White an opportunity. Pumps it towards the boundary line. And begrudgingly, Dorotic steps over and will have a throw in.
Just looking at what's happening up forward, I think Peter Satori, Ken Hunter sitting on the bench, and that just might be the option that Carlton are looking for. Satori doesn't look all that convincing in the air at this stage of the game.
Dorotic over the top. Durs McLean. Healy takes the football. Gleeson on the half volley. Murphy has a chance now with Herman, and Ian Herman will have a shot from some 45 metres out, but almost directly in front. Well, the Blues have managed only 3 goals so far in this game. Herman's drop punt is on its way. He may have just snuck it in. Yes, only a behind.
Interesting watching that, Sandy. That left boot gave way under him then. It is very slippery there in the middle.
Milhana shakes his head. And Danny Hughes brings the ball back into play. Kicking long. Newport high towards the middle. And a good mark taken by Rodney Grinter. On to Steins. The big fella looks for runners. And Stretch gives him an option. O'Dwyer pushes it back towards Meldrum. Nailey. Indecision. And he gets his kick. Johnson bursts through half forward. Goes long in towards full forward. No mark taken. Where are the Rovers? Pull back by Lyon. From behind.
He's been dangerous. He's not too happy. Kennedy to kick it in. 9-5 to 3-4. 12-23 and counting down. Kick into the members' side. Nailey has been busy in this term. To Gleeson. Chip passes towards the middle. Johnston missed it. Only got the one opportunity. It was knocked away by Grinter. Well done by Healy on his knees. Back to Grinter towards half forward. Lovell. And the kicks are dropping for Melbourne at the present time. Lovell too far out to score. Lofts it down towards the kickoff line. Jackson had no chance. Dunlop, best on the ground in the reserves last weekend, takes the mark, comes grandstand side, and the mark is taken by Glasgow. More correctly, members side. Here's Glasgow out of the back pocket. High kick towards centre wing. Dursmer over the top, fists away, straight to Bradley. Bradley towards half forward. Dorotic almost a mark behind. Then Ward's wide away from the ball. Well played though by White. Got the deflection across towards Johnson. And Johnson does well to rush it across the boundary line.
Yes, just looking at the Carlton forward line again. Satori, Dorotic, Kernan, all big guys and really are struggling in these sort of conditions today.
Johnson again. Getting it clear. They've got the runners. Lovell's playing a superb game. Goes on to Yates. Back to Lovell. A high kick going inside 50. Meldrum forced to do it with the one hand. Recovers well. Kicks back towards the centre. Steins has to stand his ground. Kernahan tried to come over the top and they bottle it up in the middle. No one is going to give an inch.
Just looking at Meldrum then, he might be the player. He's playing half-back flank at the moment, it would appear, and he might be the player that might create some run for this Carlton side.
Steins wins it. Johnston at the bottom of the pack. Stretch steals it. Can't take it away, however, as Bradley goes in. And we'll see another bounce. We've got just over 10 minutes of the second quarter remaining. And Ken Hunter looks as though he's going to be on the ground in a matter of seconds. Carlton have got to do something. They have made no inroads whatsoever. Madden. An attempted soccer off the ground failed. Madden roves away, but the whistle had already sounded. .59 plays 22. Gleeson wide to Johnston. To half forward, and Alan Johnson has been superb. Now Carlton are making a change. Madden is coming off and Hunter on. Madden off, Hunter on. Clever tap by Spalding. Unfortunately Rhys Jones was there and he does it beautifully. Spins out of trouble, but his handball is taken by Grinder, who just put his head down and tried to bore through. Kennedy. Daryn chasing. Johnson again. Now he has been inspirational since being carried virtually from the ground. And now he's limping. The man's a marvel. To Steins at centre wing.
He's got a great game too, Jim Steins. They're dominating the rucks in the air. Steins a high kick towards half-forward line. Knocks it on. Scrambled out of there by Alvin. Healy trying to crash his way through. He finishes up with the ball to Viney. Now the advantage is played. That was bad luck for Melbourne. Wilson. Spalding to Lyon. 20 metres out. I think he's missed. Oh. Melbourne had it tailor-made. They stopped. Had they kept going, the advantage was paid belatedly. Had it been instantaneous, they had players running towards an open goal, 3 opposed to 1. And that slight hesitation brought them undone. 9-6-3-4. Kick in, Members side. Steins does well from behind. And again off the ground by Steins. Out of bounds, about 25 metres around from the right-hand behind post. Steins and O'Dwyer dominating the ruck exchanges, and now Madden's off the ground. Dunlop did it well. Steins again. Hooks it down towards full forward. In front, Alvin. In deep trouble, Alvin. Jackson. Back to Steins. Steins surrounded from the impossible angle. That's a great centering kick. And Carlton scramble it through for a behind.
Yes. Certainly improved his stats then did Jim Steins. 13 kicks and 3 handballs. But the agility of the guy on the ground level is fantastic. You don't see too many players that tall being able to do those sorts of things on the ground.
39 points is the margin. Glascott brings it into Gleeson.
Aitken's got it on the outer side. Aitken right half back towards centre wing.
Carlton desperately wanting a score. Herman. Poor kick. Dersma tries to scramble it out to Lovett. Now Wilson gets away from Bradley. Does it well. Going out to the wing. Viney drops what he should have taken, but sweeps a long hand pass out in front of Healy. Pressure put on him. Now Wilson. And eventually over the line. Don Scott is down on the boundary line, and Don, Alan Johnson has certainly been in the wars.
Well, he has, Sandy. He's got a sore shin. He got a kick on the shin. They're just trying to treat it. Well, they are treating it now. They've just asked him to get up and walk. So after the treatment, we'll see how bad the actual injury is.
From the throw-in, we're going to ask the players to do it all again. But Peter Rode is having a bit of a jog on the boundary line. O'Dwyer and Dorotic. Been a great game so far. The honours well and truly with Melbourne as O'Dwyer tries to sling Dorotic out of the way. Murphy comes steaming home. Down to the half-forward line he goes. It's a long kick. Waiting down is Nayley doing the roving. He snaps. Is this along the way to goal for the Blues? It is.
I'd like to close my check account, please.
Really? Customer Relations Officer?
Yes. If you want to close your bank check account because they add on all sorts of charges and open a check account with Suncorp Building Society because all we add is high interest, but you want to avoid the hassle, simply come into a Suncorp office, sign a form, and we'll close your bank check account for you.
I like that idea.
Suncorp, the helpful Queenslander.
3 points. Just over 6 minutes remaining in the first half. Johnston, high kick. Yates with courage came to meet the ball. Was taken high. He'll get the free kick. It's still drizzling as Yates swings it out wide. Melbourne have got the numbers. 3-on-1. Valiant attempt to mark out there is not paid. Yes, it is. He's paid that mark to Healy. Shade lucky. Now Healy wants to go. Nayley and Grinter off the ball getting involved. The umpire's gone across and he's insisting that the player take the kick from behind the mark. That's Healy. Bit of by-play between Nayley and Grinter. Centering kick from Healy. Steins the flyer. Almost the mark. Finds it on the ground. He is remarkable at going after that ball when it hits the ground. Dorotic, a high kick back towards the half-back flank. Nayley watches helplessly as it bounces out of bounds. Justin Madden. Here's the boundary throw-in. 9-7, 4-4. O'Dwyer superbly down to Lyon. Brilliantly blanketed off the boot there by Rhys Jones. Aitken going nowhere. Oh, great courage by Rhys Jones, and he wins a free kick.
Tremendous courage by Rhys Jones. A dive on the ball. Now he finds Aitken just going short. He's going to kick to a pretty congested centre wing area. Pulling it wide. Kernahan up high. Dersmer over the top to affect the spoil. Bradley couldn't take it. Dersmer again tries to soccer it forward for the Demons. Past Healy it goes. And we will see a throw. Here's the throw in again. We've learnt from Dr. Scott that the doctor feels there is some doubt as to whether Johnson will make another appearance today for Melbourne. Love it. Reading it well. Towards Wilson. Oh. The Brownlow medalist. Williams. That's one of the slipperiest parts of this MCG. Right on the edge of the cricket practice area. Steins won't be able to keep that one in play. And another throw. So we have just on 4 minutes of the second quarter remaining. Milhana is about to make his first appearance for the afternoon. And Carlton, at the moment, unable to close the gap. Well, Carlton are going to have Craig Bradley and Justin Madden on the bench. And I don't think Blues fans would see that too often.
Kick in midfield, fisted by Grinter to accommodate Newport. 55 metres out from goal, Steve Newport down towards full forward. No mark was taken. Opportunity behind. Under real pressure down there was Dunlop. Glasgow got it out, and eventually it scrambled across the boundary line by Aitken in that left full forward pocket for Melbourne. John Northey looks on.
Not a bad ploy that to take Bradley off the ground. He's being well shaded by Newport. Newport probably now thinks that he's won. You know, he's done his job for the day, and perhaps to throw Bradley back on again later in the game, or very shortly in the game, is the right ploy at this stage.
Dersmer, who's been an absolute sensation, marking Kernahan and playing his own game as well, kicks it only as far as Dorotic. Dorotic towards centre half back, and Meldrum takes the mark.
Plays on, looking to give Hannah his first touch. Milhana from the defensive side of centre goes long to half forward, underplaying behind, and White takes a good mark. Well, Gleeson's limping from the ground, so Bradley's stay on the bench is going to be short-lived. Grinter, the centre wing. Gleeson is in trouble. Across to Herman, back to Gleeson, and taken over the line. And Gleeson continues his walk. He is off, but he looks to be in trouble. Looks to be in real trouble. So Bradley back on. O'Dwyer with the height advantage wins it, but straight down to Alvin. And the rain gets a little heavier. And that's going to make it even tougher for Carlton. Just under 3 minutes of this second quarter left. O'Dwyer again. And some illegal shepherding going on. And things falling the way of Melbourne at the moment. Short to Wilson. And it's suddenly become very dark here at the MCG. Well, I imagine it's been pretty dark for Carlton for some time. To half forward. Rd22 in front. Steins looking for the mark, so too are Melbourne supporters. Yates trying to affect the spoil on Hannah. He's not good enough. And Bill Hannah not liking that bit of attention he received. Will take it from half back. He plays on, floating it towards Kernahan. These conditions will not suit him. O'Dwyer is claimed. Newport has it kicked out of his hands. Now Bradley. Sockers it back into play. White gets a disastrous bounce, but Hughes gives him splendid backup support. His kick, however, goes straight to Wayne Johnston.
Johnston plays on. High kick. They'll contest well inside 50. Kernahan couldn't hang on. Hunter, was he held? Not according to the umpire. Oh, and Bradley from point-blank range took a penalty, and it bounced off the head of Dersman.
And as we look at it again, and Bradley tries to do the right thing, keep it in, and the ball right in the face.
Now that would smart. Close to the boundary line. Johnston, can he keep it in? No, he can't. We'll have another boundary throw in.
Gee, that rain is certainly heavy, and just makes the task of Carlton so much more difficult.
I'm still marvelling at Dersman. Got 8 seconds to go. He just shrugged it off. Here's Kernahan. Can the Blues get a late goal? 3 seconds remaining. That should do it. Hughes, there's the siren. Half-time at the MCG. And the Demons on course for the final 5. They lead 9-7 to 4-4. My word, hasn't that man played well? Stephen O'Dwyer. He's been a star together with Jim Steins, and the rain is really pelting down now. So perhaps the composition of the top 5 could be decided in the first half when it was relatively dry. Last we saw, Essendon had a big lead in their game against St Kilda. As far as Melbourne are concerned, margins stand for nothing. But there'll be pressure at the Western Oval tomorrow if Essendon have a big win, and Melbourne can win this one. And the way they're going, Melbourne are looking pretty good things. There's Alan Johnson. That's a tragedy for them as he limps around the boundary. He's been a star today. Robert Wall's coming down. Nothing to smile about. Finished the quarter with Justin Madden and Adrian Gleeson on his bench. So half-time here in Melbourne. It's teeming with rain now. 9-7 to 4-4. Melbourne leads. It was 29 points. Start of the third.